7th Annual Lehigh Valley Book Festival. Now, I never even knew the Lehigh Valley had a book festival, to be honest with you. But after receiving a press release and actually checking it out and going through it multiple times, this definitely, I really had to check this one out and let you know about it. Main reason is, unlike other festivals here in Lehigh Valley and other areas, they spread this one out. They really highlight more of Lehigh Valley than just like Allentown, Bethlehem, or Easton. They had an event, and also the history of the Lehigh Valley. Shankweiler's Drive-In, which is the longest continuously owned and operated drive-in movie theater in the country, they did a book swap on Thursday. A local coffee shop, Cedar Crest College is where they have the closing keynote speaker. But I went over to the Bethlehem Library, which was the largest part of the festival. It was kind of like when I was approaching, unfortunately, it was freezing cold outside. But right outside the library is where they had several authors and creatives. And as soon as I was walking along, checking out everyone, I immediately felt like I was at the Lehigh Valley Comic-Con, which is very big, by the way, or Fan Expo Philadelphia, which I've covered several times since its inception. So right off, major points, major recommendation right here. And I believe I spoke with the owner of the End Bookstore, which is out at Cedar Crest and Tillman, and I told him, I said, and Kirsten, who is the organizer of the Lehigh Valley Book Festival, that one way I could tell that this was truly on the level of like Comic-Cons and fan expos of major cities is, okay, I needed to take a break from this. I originally planned on checking out the opening panel and then the one with the horror sci-fi authors. Well, okay, 2 panels in between romance and mystery I can skip. Well, at one point I actually had to step outside to take a break. That only happens at like Lehigh Valley Comic-Con, major events and major like art fairs and cons. So not only that, but towards the end I also had to do it twice. So 2 times I needed to step outside to take a break from it. And last Saturday I was at the Affordable Art Fair, which is a very large art fair in New York City. Same thing. But the event at the Bethlehem Public Library had everything of, this is basically a book con, and I mean that in the highest complimentary terms, where Bethlehem Library does not have a lot of space to hold events, but there was a very wide variety of things happening now. The main room had panels throughout the day, and in addition to that, after the panel, right in the same room, you had book signings by the authors. Upstairs, they had events for such as crafting for children and families. Like I said, outside from 11 to 2 was kind of like your artists. If you've ever been to like a Comic-Con or a fan expo, the Artist Alley, which I always do a straight line for regardless of the size, was kind of like your Artist Alley creator section. So this had all the event, and also when I was there, I didn't feel like I was in Lehigh Valley. Long explanation on that one. I felt like I was in New York City or Philadelphia at one of these major cons and events. It has all the elements of being in a big city, but like the Lehigh Valley has a tendency to have, here's a steel sax, a huge rusting piece of metal. Oh, Allentown, downtown Allentown. Really, it's a graveyard. So they highlight areas of the Lehigh Valley that people coming in, even people who lived here all their lives, might have forgotten about or might have never gone to, and say, hey, look, there's so much more to the area than just your tourist attractions. Another thing I love about this is that Kirsten and the Lehigh Valley, all the people involved with Lehigh Valley Book Festival take a chance and say, hey, you know what, Lehigh Valley's like a broken record. And I talked to a couple people at the library at the festival, and they agreed with me, where it's the same. If you visit here, it's great, but if you live here after about 3 years, you realize it's a broken record. Even a lot of the festivals, same bands, same thing, over and over and over and over again. As much as I've told the classic, major, music fest even. So the Lehigh Valley Book Festival is one of 3 major events here in the Lehigh. Is one of 3 major events here. It says, you know what? We're not going to do that. We're going to do something completely different. We're going to show not only people here in the Lehigh Valley, but people across the country and even the world, that there's so much more to the valley, and the Lehigh Valley is capable of so much more than just the same old thing. The other two major events here are Lehigh Valley Comic-Con and the Allentown Film Festival. So Lehigh Valley, the only, not downside, but the only area, and I actually spoke, like I said, I believe it was to the owner of the Ed Bookshop, was, and he explained to me the reason why they did this, is they're kind of like evolving and experimenting. That the only is to, unfortunately, there aren't too many large indoor places to have anything in the Lehigh Valley, but that they had the author signing after the panel right in the same room as the next panel was going on. The only thing I would suggest would be maybe to shorten the panel somehow, because unfortunately they're going off the hours of the Bethlehem Public Library, which closes at 5 on a Saturday, or to somehow figure out a way to do like the book signings separate, or like timing wise timing wise not to exactly coincide with the next panel. And that's because you have everybody's, you have people talking to the authors, but people talking from the next, doing a Q&A from the next panel also. That is the only main suggestion I would have. And the only other possible one, and this is like really dependent on the weather, and at the end of March, it was 70 on Thursday. Today was in the 40s for a high with the wind. It was, pardon the expression, was fucking cold outside. Would be to like maybe at Payroll Plaza, which is actually fairly large for an area for the Lehigh Valley, is to have maybe a tent set up in the middle to expand the area for, like I said, pretty much the artist creator alley section, at the festival. Other than that, if next year, this actually, for being my first time, is a very rare exception to the rule, and a few other events have done this, that has already made my list of, okay, I definitely want to cover this next year. And not only just at the Bethlehem Library, I also want to cover one location. Unfortunately, tomorrow I can't get out to Cedar Crest Boulevard. I'd love to, but hey, most people have a day job, myself included. The Lehigh Valley Book Festival. If you live in the area, and even if you don't, make plans to come and check this out in 2027. I can guarantee you're not disappointed. Honestly, I don't have time to read. I haven't in a very long time. Even if you're not a reader, you definitely want to come to check this out and experience this, because of all the really cool people and great people and authors you have a chance to meet and experience. Michael Phoenix, founder, staff, Fire City Illusion. To your family and friends, as always, wishing you only the best and much success in your lives, and please continue to stay safe.